On a Greek island buried under volcanic ash for 36 centuries, archaeologists uncovered a town frozen in time. Multi-story houses. Painted walls. Storerooms still full of pottery and grain. And no bodies. Not one skeleton in the entire excavated town. Whatever happened here, the people who lived in it were gone before it did. This is the story of Thera, one of the largest volcanic eruptions in human history, and the choice that saved a town's people while burying everything they owned. Around 1600 BC, the island of Thera hosted one of the most advanced towns in the Bronze Age Aegean. Modern archaeologists call it Akrotiri. Its people built multi-story stone houses on timber frames strong enough to survive earthquakes, paved streets, and a sewer system with indoor plumbing that Europe would not see again for another 2,000 years. This was not a village. It was a sophisticated port city, trading across the Aegean Sea. Inside those homes, the walls themselves were art. Painted frescoes covered entire rooms, blue monkeys, leaping antelope, women gathering saffron crocus flowers, and a long painted fleet of ships sailing between painted towns. These paintings are some of the best preserved images we have of daily Bronze Age life anywhere in the world, because of what was about to happen to the room around them. Weeks before the end, the ground began to shake. Strong earthquakes cracked walls across the town. Some buildings show hurried repairs, timber braces hammered against damaged stone, then abandoned mid-work. The islanders had lived beside their volcano for generations. They knew its moods. This time, something felt different. Then came the first warning. A smaller eruption, a fraction of what was coming, dusted the town in a fine layer of grey ash. It was enough. In the time that followed, the people of Akrotiri did something remarkable. They left, deliberately and in order. Excavators have found almost no gold or silver in the ruins, evidence that people packed their valuables and walked out. What they left behind instead were full households, pottery, furniture, even the impression of a wooden bed, sealed in ash exactly as it stood. Then the volcano woke fully. A column of ash and pumice tore into the sky, climbing more than 30 kilometers into the stratosphere, one of the largest eruptions of the last 10,000 years. Day turned to darkness beneath it. For hours, the sky over the empty island rained stone. Light, porous pumice stone fell like hail across the abandoned rooftops, burying the empty town beneath meter after meter of ash and rock. Every street, every home, sealed exactly as its people had left it, down to the pottery on the shelves. Then the final phase arrived. Scalding clouds of ash and gas swept down across the island faster than anything could outrun, entombing what the falling pumice had not already buried, and locking the town in an airless seal for the next 3,500 years. With the magma chamber beneath it emptied, the heart of the island gave way. The center collapsed into the sea, and where a single round island had stood, a vast flooded caldera opened in its place, nearly 2 miles across. The collapse sent tsunamis racing outward across the Aegean. Roughly 70 miles south, on the coast of Crete, the sea pulled back from the shore, a warning few would have understood. Then it returned as a wall of water, estimated at some sites to have reached 30 feet, tearing through coastal settlements and leaving a layer of displaced marine sediment that geologists would find, unmistakably, thousands of years later. When the ash finally settled, the island of Thera was transformed. What had been a round volcanic island was now a crescent, wrapped around a drowned caldera. Scientists still argue over exactly when this happened. Radiocarbon dating of a buried olive branch points to the late 1600s BC, while traditional dating methods tied to Egyptian records suggest a century later. The rock itself remembers the day. The calendar still does not fully agree on it. The Minoan civilization on Crete, the great sea power of the Bronze Age Aegean, did not vanish that day, and its palaces stood for another century after the eruption. But the ashfall, the ruined harvests, the tsunamis, and the disruption to the sea trade that had made Crete rich all left the island weakened at once. Within a few generations, a new power rising from the Greek mainland, the Mycenaeans, began to take its place as the dominant force in the Aegean. Centuries later, a Greek philosopher named Plato wrote of a lost island civilization called Atlantis, swallowed by the sea in a single day. He was writing more than 1,000 years after Thera erupted. Many historians think his story echoes a folk memory of this eruption, passed down and reshaped over generations. It remains a theory, not a proven fact, and Plato never named Thera directly. In 1967, archaeologists began uncovering the town the ash had sealed. They named it Akrotiri, and it remains one of the best preserved Bronze Age sites on Earth, precisely because its people had time to leave. Thera is remembered not as a story of people caught by disaster, but of people who read the signs in the ground beneath them, and walked away in time to save everyone but the town itself.